All those questions that come to you at midnight, you will find your answers at SciFacts Info. And today we're diving into 50 incredible fun facts you won't forget. The erased tapes mystery. NASA erased the moon landing tapes. Although copies exist, the fact that NASA intentionally wiped the original Apollo 11 tapes has fueled conspiracy theories for decades. An administrative oops that only adds to the aura of mystery surrounding space exploration. These originals were magnetic backup tapes, erased and reused in the early 1980s when NASA needed tape stock. What survives are the converted broadcast versions of the moonwalk footage. Truth is messier than conspiracy. Forget horses. Up in northern Mongolia, the Satan people ride reindeer. Only a few hundred remain, living nomadically in the icy Siberian taiga. Their reindeer aren't just mounts, they're lifelines. They provide milk, haul supplies, and carry riders through frozen forests. For the Satan, saddling up a reindeer isn't some fantasy. It's survival in one of the harshest climates on Earth. Before Mickey Mouse hit TV screens, he had his own fan club in theaters. In 1930, a manager at the Fox Dome Theater in California started the Mickey Mouse Club to bring in crowds during the Great Depression. It worked fast. By 1932, over 1 million kids across the US and even Europe carried membership cards, joined contests, and pledged the club's good citizenship creed. Disney shut it down in 1935. But the idea was reborn in 1955 as the hit TV show The Mickey Mouse Club. Picture this. A medical professor asks, "How many kidneys do we have?" A student fires back, calm as ever, 4. Shocked, the professor mocks him, calling for grass for the donkey in the room. Without missing a beat, the student replies, "And coffee for me." The class erupts. Who was this bold student? Apprezio Torelli Abarelli. The so-called Baron de Latare was known for his wit. As he was kicked out, he turned back and said, "We have 4, 2 for me and 2 for you." A legendary clapback that turned a lecture into history. All blue eyes trace back to a single ancestor who lived between 6,000 and 10,000 years ago, near the Black Sea. A mutation in the OCA2 gene dialed down melanin production, turning brown eyes into bright blue. Blue eyes don't actually have blue pigment. The color comes from light scattering, the same reason the sky looks blue. Today, some Scandinavian populations are over 80% blue-eyed, all linked by that one prehistoric mutation. Japan has launched the first human trials of a drug that could make lost teeth grow back. It blocks a protein called USAG1, which normally stops new teeth from forming. In mice and ferrets, the treatment already worked. Trials in humans began in late 2024, and if all goes well, you could walk into a dentist's office by 2030 and grow a brand new tooth, instead of getting an implant. Goodbye dentures, hello natural teeth. In 2018, NASA photographed a bizarre iceberg in Antarctica, shaped like a near-perfect rectangle. Straight edges, sharp corners, like it was cut with a giant ruler. But it wasn't man-made, just nature at work. Huge cracks in the ice sheet break off in straight lines, creating these geometric giants. This one stretched for kilometers, weighing billions of tons, floating like a colossal Lego brick in the freezing sea. 1903, Leavenworth Prison, Kansas. A new inmate walks in, William West. Guards freeze. They already had a William West locked up. Same name, same face, same build. No relation, just a freak coincidence. The confusion was so intense that it forced prisons to adopt fingerprinting. One bizarre doppelganger mix-up changed criminal investigations forever. In Morocco's Atlas Mountains, scientists uncovered a dinosaur unlike any other, Spicamelus afer. It lived 165 million years ago, making it the oldest known armored ankylosaur. Its ribs were fused with huge thorny spikes up to 1 meter, 3 feet long, forming a living fortress bristling with spears. This evolutionary experiment vanished early, but it shows that dinosaurs in North Africa were inventing body armor tens of millions of years before the rest. Potatoes aren't just roots. They're a 9-million-year-old evolutionary accident. Scientists discovered they were born when a wild tomato and a plant called a tuberosum crossed naturally. The tomato gave the sp6a gene, the tuberosum gave IT1, and together they created tubers, the world's favorite carbs. Without this chance meeting in the Andes, there'd be no fries, no chips, no mashed potatoes. Imagine being terrified of cherries without ever tasting one. That's what happened to mice in a famous experiment. Shocked when exposed to cherry scent, their fear was passed down to their kids and even grandkids, without a single shock. This is epigenetics, where trauma leaves chemical marks on genes, rewriting and altering behavior across generations. And it's not just mice. Descendants of World War II famine survivors still show signs of stress and health risks today. Fear can echo through bloodlines. Plato's theory of ideas, also known as the theory of forms, posits that the ultimate reality consists of immutable and timeless abstract entities, called forms or ideas, which represent the true essence of things. Plato envisioned humans trapped in a cave, gazing only at the shadows on the wall. To them, those shadows were reality. But one person breaks free, sees the sunlight, and discovers that everything he thought was a lie. When he tries to free the others, they laugh at him. The cave represents society, the shadows are false beliefs, the chains are fear, and breaking free is the agonizing birth of truth. It's a 2,000-year-old warning. Most people are still living in caves. Hidden in the Netherlands, one company holds the keys to the digital age. ASML makes the world's only machines capable of etching circuits at 5 and 3 nanometers, using extreme ultraviolet light. Each machine is a $150 million monster with over 100,000 parts. No China, no USA, no Russia can copy it. Without ASML, there's no iPhone, no AI, no missiles. One company, one machine, and the modern world collapses without it. Buried in your nose is a strange silent organ, the Jacobson's organ. In snakes and cats, it detects pheromones, guiding hunting and mating. In humans, it's a useless leftover. Not connected, not active, just a fossil in flesh. It's proof we evolved from ancestors who relied on it for survival. In 1996, Pepsi painted a Concorde jet in deep blue, turning it into a flying billboard. But there was a problem. At Mach 2, over 1,300 miles per hour, the plane's body heated past 100 degrees Celsius, 212 degrees Fahrenheit. The original white paint reflected heat, but Pepsi's blue absorbed it, risking disaster. Engineers had to cap the jet's supersonic flight at just 20 minutes. Cool ad, but physics won. Marketing nearly grounded the fastest passenger plane ever built. Every human starts the same way. In the womb, all embryos form nipples and 2 sets of reproductive blueprints. The Mullerian ducts for female organs, and the Wolffian ducts for male ones. Left alone, the body naturally develops female traits. Around week 8, if a Y chromosome is present, the SRY gene fires up, pumping testosterone and anti-Müllerian hormone. That shuts down female ducts and drives male development. But nipples? They're already locked in, which is why men keep them as leftovers from the early design. Every bite of sugar sparks a microscopic war. Bacteria feast, then unleash lactic acid, basically their chemical waste, straight onto your teeth. That sticky mix of dead bacteria, food scraps, spit, and acid is plaque. Harmless at first, but it gnaws through enamel, drills into dentin, and eventually slams into nerves. That's when the agony hits. The only shield: brushing, flossing, cutting down on sugar, and dentist checkups. Teeth aren't rocks. They're living tissue under constant attack. In 1997, 3 Yemeni men actually sued NASA. Why? Because the Pathfinder rover landed on Mars without asking for their permission. They claimed they inherited Mars from their ancestors 3,000 years ago. The case didn't go far, but the men later tried selling land deeds on Mars for $2 per square meter. Imagine buying beachfront property on another planet. On Sulawesi Island, Indonesia, the Buton tribe stunned the world with photos of dark-skinned people sporting piercing blue eyes. No European ancestry here. It's caused by Waardenburg syndrome, a rare genetic condition that alters pigmentation and can cause hearing loss. The photos taken by Indonesian photographer Korchnoi Pasaribu went viral, showing the striking contrast of sapphire eyes in a tropical island tribe, a rare disorder written in the iris like a spark of the sea. Your body glows. Not in a mystical way, but in a real, faint shimmer of photons. Cells constantly release tiny flashes of light during chemical reactions, especially when free radicals interact inside. Japanese researchers captured this glow in humans with ultra-sensitive cameras, and Canadian scientists saw it fade in mice after death. We don't see it with the naked eye, but every living body emits this bio-photon light, a silent spark that vanishes with life itself. Imagine walking into a hospital with 0 doctors or nurses. China just launched one. It's called Agent Hospital, powered entirely by artificial intelligence. 14 virtual doctors, 4 digital nurses trained on 500,000 real cases, handling 3,000 patients a day with 93% accuracy. No humans, just algorithms. It's the future of healthcare, raising big questions but solving real shortages. A 2025 study revealed something wild. Species with longer thumbs tend to have bigger brains. From lemurs to apes to humans, the pattern held. At first, scientists expected it to tie to motor areas, but the strongest link was with the neocortex, the part responsible for awareness and higher thinking. In short, the evolution of precise hand control pushed the brain to get smarter. The hand and the mind grew together. Your brain can trick you into remembering things that never happened. Psychologists have planted fake memories, like getting lost in a mall. So vivid that people recall details that never existed. Stress, suggestion, even photos can bend memory into lies. Scary part? We might base love, anger, or even accusations on events that never happened. That snake wrapped around a staff on pharmacy signs. It's the rod of Asclepius, a symbol of medicine since ancient Greece. The staff stood for healing journeys, the snake for rebirth and renewal, shedding its skin for new life. Don't confuse it with the winged two-snake caduceus. That's actually a symbol of trade, not medicine. The real snake staff is all about health. The mythical new color. A team at UC supposedly discovered a brand new color. Olu, visible only through laser tricks in the retina. Just 5 people, they claim, have seen it. Sounds groundbreaking, right? Reality check. There's no verified scientific record of such a discovery. The story pops up online, but it doesn't exist in peer-reviewed research. Why planes don't fly over Antarctica? No, airlines aren't hiding secrets under the ice. Commercial flights avoid Antarctica because it's a logistical nightmare. No emergency airports. Brutal temperatures below -58 degrees Fahrenheit, -50 degrees Celsius. Unstable winds. Magnetic navigation quirks. And honestly, no passengers want to fly there. Military and research planes do it with special gear, but airlines stick to safer, cheaper routes. A massive study in PLOS1 tested generosity with the dictator game. Results? Women handed over 40% more money than men. On average, women split the pot, men kept it. Personality played a role, but the big takeaway: statistically, women are more generous. Here's a mindbender. You've never actually touched anything in your life. Atoms repel each other with the electromagnetic force. When you press your hand on a table, the electrons in your skin push against the electrons in the surface, never overlapping. What you feel is your brain interpreting those forces as touch. So yes, even now, you're hovering just above the chair you're sitting on. In 1815, Mount Tambora erupted in Indonesia, blasting ash into the sky and plunging the planet into a volcanic winter. The next year was the year without summer. Crops failed, horses starved, and transport collapsed. Desperate for alternatives, German inventor Karl von Drais created the first bike in 1817. The Draisine, a wooden, pedal-less running machine. Out of the global disaster rolled humanity's first bicycle. You thought you could hold your breath for a minute? Try 29 minutes and 3 seconds. That's what Vitomir Maricic, a Croatian freediver, just pulled off, breaking the world record and surpassing most marine animals. He pre-breathed pure oxygen for 10 minutes, then submerged himself in a 3-meter, approximately 10 feet, deep pool. His body was supercharged, with about 5 times more oxygen than usual in his blood. How did he beat the old mark? Understand this. The previous best with oxygen was 24 minutes 37 seconds by Budimir Shobat. Vitomir simply held on, both mentally and physically. Even dolphins can't match this. Most do 8 to 10 minutes. Baby healers in the womb. Science shows something wild. When a pregnant mother suffers an injury or illness, the fetus can actually send stem cells to help heal her. These cells travel through the placenta, reach damaged tissues, and work to repair them. It's like the baby is protecting its own life support system. A living example of biology's hidden teamwork. That raindrop on your skin didn't just appear. It's been in the sky for an average of 9 days before falling. That's the lifespan of a water molecule drifting in our atmosphere. Oceans hold water for thousands of years, lakes for decades, but clouds only keep it for days. The water cycle never sleeps. It's ancient, relentless, and unstoppable. In 2012, Peter Skillberg was found alive in Sweden after surviving 2 months trapped in his car under heavy snow. Temperatures dropped to minus 30 degrees Celsius, minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit. The snow acted like an igloo, trapping enough heat for him to cling to life with nothing but a sleeping bag and melted snow. Doctors said his survival bordered on human hibernation. Mountain Dew wasn't always soda. It was once slang for Appalachian moonshine. When two Tennessee brothers bottled a mixer for whiskey in the 1940s, they cheekily named it Mountain Dew. Only later did Pepsi turn it into the neon citrus drink we know, but its outlaw roots are still in the name. Humpback whales have been caught on camera blocking orca attacks, rushing in, slapping tails, even putting their massive bodies between killer whales and prey. They've saved seals, dolphins, and even gray whale calves. Nobody knows exactly why. Maybe instinct, maybe empathy. Either way, these ocean giants play hero more often than we thought. In South Korea, Chasa soon became a legend of persistence. She failed the driver's license test again and again, starting in 2005. By 2010, she had taken the written exam 960 times, spending over $10,000. When she finally passed, the entire country cheered. In Frankfurt, police made a bizarre discovery in 2017. A car that had been missing since 1997 turned up. But here's the twist. It wasn't stolen. The 76-year-old owner had simply forgotten where he parked it. For 2 decades, the car sat untouched in the same spot, hidden in plain sight. It was only rediscovered when a nearby building was demolished, revealing the world's longest accidental parking job. Silence isn't the same everywhere. How long can you pause in a conversation before it feels awkward? Awkward silences aren't the same everywhere. In English-speaking countries, let the pause run longer than 4 seconds, and people squirm. But in Japan, silence can stretch to 8 seconds and still feel perfectly normal. There, quiet isn't awkward. It shows thoughtfulness and respect. What feels uncomfortable in one culture is valued in another. Alberta, Canada has a claim no one else in North America can make. It's rat-free. Since the 1950s, the province has run one of the strictest rat control programs in the world. Owning rats is illegal, and any sighting must be reported. Decades of vigilance have kept Alberta free of one of the world's most notorious pests. Think turning your phone to silent is just a habit. Science says otherwise. A 2022 study found that people who constantly mute notifications often do it to protect focus or because they're sensitive to sound. But here's the twist. Those same people actually check their phones more often. Without alerts, the uncertainty drives them to peek at their screens non-stop. Silent mode doesn't always mean peace. It can mean obsession. The Phantom Doomsday Plane. Yes, it's real. The U.S. still flies Doomsday planes, officially known as the Boeing E-4B Night Watch. Imagine a flying fortress built from a 747, armored against nuclear blasts and electromagnetic pulses. These planes can refuel in midair and stay aloft for days, acting as command centers. Only 4 exist, and their true systems are locked down tighter than Fort Knox. Rumor? Nope. Reality. And now they're being replaced with an even newer fleet, designed to last until 2036. An 80-year-old Japanese woman, Miss Fumiko, drove her Mazda RX-7FD for 25 years. A rotary-powered beast, manual transmission, high performance. She cared for it so well that Mazda eventually bought it back as part of their heritage collection. Proof that passion for cars doesn't age. Off northern Peru, Chicama holds the crown for the longest left-hand point break on Earth. On linking sections, rides stretch to about 4 kilometers, roughly 2.5 miles. Even typical runs of 2 kilometers, about 1.2 miles, can be completed without stopping. Peru formally protected Chicama in 2016 under Law Number 27,280, restricting coastal works that could alter the break. More than a surf spot, it is a protected national heritage. Imagine clouds that look like they're on fire. That's a fire rainbow, officially called a circumhorizontal arc. It only appears when the sun climbs high, over 58 degrees, and its light hits tiny ice crystals floating in cirrus clouds. The result? Stripes of glowing neon colors stretching across the sky like a giant flame. Most people will never see one in their lifetime. In 2023, archaeologists in Nördlingen, Germany, unearthed a 3,000-year-old sword that looked brand new. The bronze hilt, octagonal and gleaming, still shone as if fresh from the forge. Perfectly balanced, razor-ready, yet buried with care beside a family. This wasn't just a weapon, it was a Bronze Age masterpiece, untouched, flawless, and rare. The $22 million handshake. These two Wisconsin neighbors made a promise decades ago. If either won the lottery, they'd split it. No papers, no lawyers, just trust. They hit a $22 million Powerball jackpot. True to their word, they each pocketed about $5.7 million after taxes. A handshake turned into a fortune. Friendship literally paid off. Over Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela, the sky explodes almost every night. This phenomenon, called Catatumbo lightning, strikes up to 260 nights a year. Storms can rage for 10 hours straight, unleashing nearly 1.2 million bolts annually. It's the most lightning-prone place on Earth, a natural light show with no off switch. In 2016, doctors removed a baby named Linley Hope from her mother's womb at 23 weeks. To remove a massive tumor threatening her life. After the operation, they placed her back inside her mother to keep growing. 12 weeks later, she made her second grand entrance by C-section. 2 births, 2 birthdays. One miracle that stunned the world. In 2017, a survey revealed something shocking. 7% of American adults, over 16 million people, actually thought chocolate milk comes from brown cows. Even crazier, nearly half weren't sure at all. Did you know that your brain can't tell a fake smile from a real one? Flash a grin and it releases dopamine and serotonin, the feel-good chemicals that fight stress. Even cortisol, your main stress hormone, drops. Your nervous system relaxes. Sometimes your smile knows you're happy before you do. Proof that a grin is free medicine. And there you have it. 50 jaw-dropping facts that prove truth is often stranger than fiction. Which one surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this ride through history, science, and the downright bizarre, hit that like button, subscribe to Sci-Facts Info, and stay tuned for even more facts that will keep your curiosity burning. Until next time, stay curious.